What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of X-Men 97, the new Marvel animated series out in full, 10 episodes on Disney+. This, of course, is a continuation of X-Men the animated series that aired from 1992 to 97. Thus, we are 27 years in the making. This is also the first X-Men property from Marvel Studios since they acquired the film rights to the franchise in the Fox deal. I'm a big fan of the X-Men. I've seen all the films. I didn't really watch too much of X-Men the animated series, kind of aired, as I was coming alive, so a little before my time. But I watched a lot of X-Men Evolution, one of the follow-up series, and in general, X-Men is my favorite Marvel property. I think it's one of the most enduring Marvel properties for a bunch of reasons, and I'll get into that in a little bit. X-Men 97 kind of has had a tumultuous time to the screen, with the creator and co-writer of the series, Bo DeMeo, being fired from the series before X-Men 97 premiered, and that's despite the fact that Season 2 is on the way and Season 3 is in development. That being said, I enjoyed X-Men 97 quite a bit. I think it's a very familiar return to the vibe of 90s X-Men storytelling. Even though this is clearly a cartoon made for children, it's a very faithful adaptation of the core X-Men characters that people have come to know. Now, X-Men 97 really just throws you right in, so it's going to pick up plot threads, going to pick up character development from the animated series. It's not really going to hold your hand. There's still a lot of expository dialogue. It's almost always very plot heavy in its narrative, so it's not the most sophisticated storytelling. I think X-Men 97, it's a fun return to X-Men because it really puts front and center why X-Men is such an enduring brand and, to me, the best Marvel property. And that's the timeless struggle of the X-Men, a marginalized group of people that society rejects and doesn't appreciate. The real-world parallels from the X-Men are just as relevant today as they were in the decades prior. X-Men as a storytelling device, still really great. And I think everyone's very excited for Marvel Studios and the MCU to bring in the X-Men, as they've begun to hint at is coming soon. I think we definitely need that breath of fresh air on the film front, and the X-Men characters and the crux of why that storytelling is so strong, that would really be a really big boost to a currently aimless Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is fun to watch X-Men 97 outside of any MCU continuity, unlike some of the other MCU animated stuff that's coming up soon, like the Spider-Man animated shows. It's fun because we get Marvel cameos from non-X-Men characters, and you don't have to worry about MCU continuity. We see Captain America. He actually gets some lines on this series. Of course, Spider-Man had a big episode in the original X-Men animated series. Doctor Doom makes a cameo in 97. There's a bunch of other familiar faces, just kind of fun. Like I said, it's very plot heavy, and as a result, the series doesn't really spend too much time with anything. I don't think there's a whole lot of character development on this, and it's hard because it's such a strong ensemble, a large ensemble, right, of characters, familiar characters people know very well, but there's not a whole lot of real character growth on this. I think the closest we get is the love triangle between Rogue, Magneto, and Cable before Cable dies. I think that was certainly interesting. Stuff with Storm losing her powers, the relationship between Jubilee and Sunspot. On the other side, though, I thought the Madeline Pryor, Jean Grey, Cyclops issue, as it is, was pretty muddled, pretty rushed. Like, I thought it was kind of ham-fisted the way Madeline Pryor was dropped on the show. Similarly, Bastion showing up as the big bad overarching, like, arch villain of X-Men 97 felt very abrupt, honestly. Mr. Sinister, at least, had been developed and is, a relic of the animated series as well. I don't know. Ultimately, I think he's got to be into these characters and down with the plot, because, like I said, there's a lot of plot. I think the Genosha attack and the Cable sacrifice, that hits very well. The reintroduction of Xavier off in space with the Shi'ar, I actually think that works pretty well, especially once we spend time with Xavier using his powers and transporting people to the astral plane. It's all amusing enough. But then you kind of get the 3-part finale, and it ends in an unsurprising place. I think the age-old battle of Xavier's methods versus Magneto's methods, and the lack of faith in humanity from Magneto's side, and then seeing that lack of faith made good by humanity's actions, right? Like, it's very classic X-Men, where season 1 leaves you when we're in the future, in the deep past, with Apocalypse. It's all over the place. Characters are split up. Be curious how multiversal and time skipping season 2 gets. Of course, cable is already a big aspect of the season. Really, it's just film comic books. I think that's the best way to approach this series, and probably the most appealing thing if you're a fan of the X-Men. So yeah, X-Men 97, long time coming, but pretty solid. More than anything, I just want X-Men on the film front. Like, the X-Men are awesome. Can't wait. But yeah, let me know, what you think of X-Men 97? What was your favorite episode? I think my favorite episode has to be, I believe it was episode 3 or 4, when Jubilee and Sunspot go into the 16-bit Motendo. That was really clever and well done, and the closest the show gets to a non-plot heavy episode. That I thought was pretty brilliant. But what was your favorite episode? And for more TV reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.